Hi everyone. I just wanted to take you through the math for this week, chapter 12, just so that you could have a better understanding. I think that me explaining it over the computer like this might help you a little bit more to see exactly what I want you to be doing. So let me just log in and I'll take you from there. So again, this is what the textbook looks like. You're going to chapter 12. It looks different on my end because I'm on the teacher account for first grade, so it might look different for you. Yesterday's lesson was lesson 12-1, mental math, find 10 less. I didn't record this, but I will right now just to go over it briefly with you. So yesterday's lesson was mostly about finding 10 less. The children know about this. We've done this before. The numbers might be a little bit bigger, but they should be familiar with this. So the objective is to use mental math to find 10 less. Math word is 10 less. So you'll see a lot of repetition in the terms here. So we have a word problem. Now, children know that whenever we have a word problem, we read it and then we go back and reread it. We typically look at a poster in my room that shows you how to solve math problems. So try to keep this in mind because they might be doing this as they go with word problems. So it says Kylie scored 84 points bowling. Lucy scored 10 less than Kylie. How many points did Lucy score bowling? So I always tell them go back and reread it, highlight information, underline anything you need to underline, make sure you're looking for the question, and so on and so forth. So let's see. So Kylie scored 84 points bowling. I always tell them make sure that you are highlighting or underlining or whatever you may have at home. So we have a total number of 84 points. Then Lucy scored 10 less. So this is very important to have them recognize when it says 10 less. I need you to stress to them that we are not going to have a greater number than this number. Okay, we're going to have obviously a number that's smaller. We talk about this all the time. If I have 10 less of something, or if I have a fewer amount of something, we are typically subtracting or counting back. So that's something you want to kind of remind them as you go on throughout the word problems. So then it says, how many points did Lucy score bowling? We like to underline the question. And again, it's asking just how many points did Lucy score? If Lucy scored 10 less than this number. So I want you to make it known that we are counting back. We are going back 10 less. Now it's saying you could use mental math to find 10 less. So start at 84 and go back to 74. I want you to stress to them also, the ones are not changing. The tens are changing. So make sure they know that these numbers here in the ones column, they're not going to change. They're going to stay at the number 4 because we're looking at the tens only. So I want them to know that we're only going 10 less and you're only going 110 less. So if you go 1 back from this number 8, you're going to get 7. So your new number will be 74. Again, 74 is 10 less than 84. 74 is 110 less than 84. So that means that Lucy scored 74 total points bowling. Here, it's just going to bring you just to ask you to use your mental math and count 10 less and circle your answer. Again, the number 45, right? So you want to make sure that this number stays the same. If it will help them, draw the T and the O above. I don't have access to just do it right then and there, so I have to just take a picture of it and then edit it. So again, a lot of them are used to this, drawing the T and the O on top. So make sure they're doing that. If that helps them, please encourage them to do that. Again, this number is staying the same, okay? You're only going 110 back. So make sure if you have 4 and you're going 110 back, you're going to get 3, which makes your new number 35. And it will continue on the next page to ask you to use your mental math. Use 10 less. Again, another word problem. This is just using a number line. If this helps them, please do a number line if that's what's going to make them understand it a little bit better. So as you go through this lesson 12-1, use mental math to just find 10 less. I'm going to go through today's lesson because I wasn't able to record that. So let me do that now for you. So it's 12-2, subtract tens. So before I begin this chapter, in the classroom, we use these manipulatives, which is just 10 rods. I know some of you don't have that at home. I did find a website, which you just have to Google it. It's called Glencoe Math Manipulatives. And it'll bring you here to Virtual Manipulatives Glencoe. I had to download Adobe for it, so you might have to. I don't think it will let you download if you don't have Adobe Flash. So once you click it, it's going to say Get Adobe, and then you're going to hit Allow. Again, this is optional. This is just so that you have manipulatives somewhat in front of you. So if you just click manipulatives and you go down, they do have base 10 blocks. So I think that's so useful just to have it in front of you. Again, let them play around with this. If this helps them, please encourage this, to be on your computer while they're doing the math lesson. You could use anything down here. You could use a pen. If it helps them, if they have 3 10s and they're getting rid of 1, that might help them to have a visual in front of them. Again, see what they are comfortable with. Maybe this will help them. So let me go back. This is 12-2. This is today's lesson. And the objective is to subtract 10s from 10s. The math word is 10s. There are 90 beads in a box. Carly uses 40 beads. How many beads are left? Okay, so have them go back and reread it. There are 90 beads in a box. Okay, so we know we have 90. Carly uses 40 of them. So she uses 40 beads. And then how many beads are left? Again, make sure they're underlining the question. And I want to just talk about a few things in here. So when we go through word problems and we highlight our information and we underline the question, we go back and talk about some of the terms. So there are 90 beads in the box. Carly uses 40 beads. I want you to stress to them that if someone is using something, you're most likely not going to have a bigger number. So this word is really important, even though it's not like a math word. It's definitely good to talk about this. So for example, if I have 10 pencils and I use 5 of them, I'm going to ask how many do I have left? So you're not going to have a bigger number. You're going to have a smaller number. So I want them to be able to recognize that when someone is using something. Make sure they understand that you're not adding, you're going to be taking away or subtracting. And again, that's another word, even though it's not considered a keyword, it's definitely a word that they should be familiar with when we talk about subtracting. And then it says how many beads are left. They know this. The key word is left. We talk about that all the time. When we hear the word left, it's typically something where we're going to have to be subtracting in the problem. So to find how many are left, you're subtracting 10s. They know this. 9 10s is equal to 90. 4 10s is equal to 40. 5 10s is equal to 50. They're just breaking it down into 2 separate problems here. So they're saying, well, 9 10s, and you're taking away 4 of them, you're going to get 5. But then when you write it out, 9 tenths equals 90, 4 tenths equals 40. What is 90 taking away 40? You're going to get 50. So there are 50 beads left. They do provide a picture here with 10 rods. I think this is perfect because you get to see it just how you could see it here on the Glencoe Manipulatives page that I just showed you. So if this helps them too to write it out, please have them draw. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or you could count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. You're taking away 4 10s, which is 40, and you're going to count how many are left, which is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So make sure you're going over this before you just jump into the practice section so that they have a clear understanding. So again, that's what they're going to ask here. How many 10s, how many 10s does 5 10s equal? How many 2 10s equals 20? You'll see it's going to be, a bunch of practice problems here. It's going to look pretty similar. When it comes down here, I want you to encourage them to write the T and the O above these problems. I know they're used to that. When we were in the classroom, we did that all of the time. I always had them write T and O on top because a lot of them like to hop to the 10s first. always stress to them, please make sure you're taking care of the ones first. This is just going to help them later on when we have to regroup and we're doing bigger numbers as we go through the math chapters. It's just something that they need to get used to. Always take care of the ones first. I always say the ones are the babies. They should know this by now. So just remind them of that. So of course you take care of the ones. Some of them draw the line here. So 0 take away 0, you're going to get 0. And then 7 take away 5. If they can't do this mentally, please encourage them to write pictures on the side. They should be able to. Again, use what you can at home, whatever you can use. So you have 7, you're taking away 5, you're going to get 2. So you have 70 and you're taking away 50, you're going to get 20. A lot of them like to recognize that if you go in the opposite way and you start at 20 and go to 50, that you get 70. So again, that's also something to connect with their learning, because I know they're used to doing the opposite and adding. So yes, if 20 is added to 50, you will get 70. So again, try to remind them of these things so that they're becoming familiar with the chapter. Again, problem solving, here's another word, problem, and so on and so forth. I know that there are a lot of pages, and I want you to break it down as much as you can. See what they're understanding. Do not rush through the lessons. If they're not understanding 12-2, please go over it with them. Do not hop into tomorrow's lesson. I'd rather them understand one chapter rather than just jumping into another one just to get the work done. So use your judgment and see what they're understanding. So that was yesterday's lesson and today's lesson. I will post tomorrow's and Thursday's. I will be recording the math lessons because it seems like going over this and using my screen is much easier. And I know I have, received a lot of questions. So hopefully this helped, and I will be posting tomorrow.